All right, so today's video, stadium update from yesterday. In classic fashion here, whenever there's a stadium patch, I'm either off early that day or they do it the moment I hop off. Guess what happened? They did it the moment I hopped off. I'm starting. Yeah, I see it now. It's just unlucky timing because yesterday apparently there was a patch. Looks like this is my first time reading looking over some of the stuff. So D.Va, they made a change here to, looks like Toki Slam. Increase Toki Slam's damage scalar to 30%, up from 20%. Says Toki Slam was originally toned down due to its disruptive potential, but after observing his performance over a full season, it's clear the impact was reduced a bit too much. We're bringing some power back to the ability to give D.Va that big slam dunk moment she deserves, which is rewarding, well-timed engages with satisfying payoff. Now, again, the number one issue I have with some of the, with this item, again, it's great that they buffed it. One of the issues I have with this item, though, is it feels like, and the same thing runs into Reaper, any type of, animation lock, once players figure out you have it, it becomes way easier to deal with, and you're kind of, stuck on it, right? And the reason why I bring up that point, and again, you can agree or disagree, that's totally fine. It feels like some heroes are given items that really benefit their character that, you can sell at any point. But with, something like Toki Slam, right, you're locked into that the whole game. So, you can't really segue off it as much, while some other heroes can kind of, just buy an item and then be like, well, you know what? I'm just going to sell this, and then you kind of go away from that. So, I think in the future, there's a way to, adjust how the animation locks work. It might make it a little bit better. Even if it's a power, maybe add something to it that allows you to, stop the animation lock, maybe, or... I know that's a little bit... Maybe it's not as possible, but there's just something about it that I think could be adjusted on that one. Where you have certain powers that basically just lock you in, and you can't segue from that. Yeah, I'm saying maybe they allow these type of things to have animation cancels to them, right? Or a way to, slightly adjust them. I want to doubt it if there's a world where they make Toki Slam like a power that's think of at the price of Eye of the Spider, a 14.5k or something like that, right? So there's just things they could do. Thank you. Sorry, I talked way too much on that one over a small item shift. It's just something I've noticed. We'll see how it goes. I think D.Va's been getting better and better. And I want to make sure I'm consistent with that, and D.Va's strong right now. And I would not doubt if they make adjustments towards that mid-season with D.Va. Okay. So that's it for tank. Not many changes. I didn't really expect too many changes for any balanced stuff. Obviously, I didn't really expect much. I mean, Zarya will have problems with right-click stuff, but I'm still fine against Zarya right now. I'm trying to think. It feels like it's more matchup-based at times now, which is good. Again, it's good that it's more matchup-based, but I didn't expect too much from that side. This is only stadium stuff. Yeah, they don't do balance for the main game as much. It's usually the normal beginning of season and then mid-season, unless there's a really overpowered scenario that Freya had, for example, or underpowered with new heroes. They try to adjust that quickly. But next up we have Junkrat. So it looks like they increased the cash income from damage and healing by 11%, which Junkrat could have used it. Junkrat definitely felt was constantly a little bit lower on power there, or stadium cash. It looks like they fixed an issue with it's another trap power. Hot Boom now deals 30% reduced damage. Ooh, that's pretty good. Rain and Lead frequency increased to 0.3 seconds, up from 0.4. Lithium Alloy, the burn damage increased to 75. And then Fox, Funny Fuel, epic hero ability item. Everything, looks like they're just straight up Junkrat buffs. Yeah, everything here feels like a Junkrat buff. The dev comments say Junkrat has brought his branded mayhem to Stadium, but mostly on the back of his weapon-focused powers. We're adding some power to some of his ability power-focused powers and items to help make them more attractive options. And it's funny, we just actually talked about this, and I don't know if we talked about this prior to the video or not, but they're saying that they want to put more power into weapon-focused powers, right? Let me rephrase that. They want to put more into his ability power. This feels like something they should also do for Cassidy and Reaper, right? Because Cassidy and Reaper, it almost feels like your direct path is weapon power. There's no, yes, you can go flashbang build, yes, you can go ultimate build, but on Reaper, you're basically forced to go down weapon power paths. So it's interesting that they're want to do that with Junkrat, but then Cassidy and Reaper don't quite have that as much. So I'm curious to see if they have more plans in the future for that. Anyway, May, It looks like May's the only other DPS change, and it is twice as nice power, twice as ice, or nice. Also resets next Snowball Flight's cooldown. Snowball Flight now synergizes with twice as ice, expanding May's mobility options, enabling more frequent use of Mini Blizzard. Wonderful. This update gives her more fluid movement and crowd control opportunities, encouraging dynamic play, and rewarding smart position. And I'm fine with it. I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but I haven't really had too many issues when I go up against a May. It can be frustrating. The only frustrating part is when they get colder and like they get like the extended colder. That part still is frustrating, even if you go back to like the original version of that. But overall, I think it's fine. I think it's okay that May got a little bit of adjustment here. And then on to support. Okay, there we go. That's a lot. Ana, our turn. The power to decrease the duration to 25%. Duration reduction. Oh, so it got buffed. Decreased duration reduction to no wait. Yes, it got buffed, right? Am I reading that correctly? Basically, it has less of a penalty. Yes. Okay, I get that now. My turn power increased self nano boost duration to 100%, up from 50%. Okay, that's good. Your full potential power increased ultimate charge given to 35%. Timeout power increased slow duration to 2.5 seconds. And venomous power increased damage to 75. So yeah, straight up Ana buffs. Just straight up. Just Ana buff across the way. It says Ana remains one of the most impactful heroes when it comes to empowering her teammates. And this patch leans further into that strength. We're enhancing her ability to turn the tide of battle with key utility, by increasing the impact of Biotic Grenade to create more high-stakes, high-reward moments in critical team fights. These changes aim to make Ana an even more decisive force in coordinated play. Yeah, I'm fine with Ana buffs. Ana's I felt like was the worst support in Stadium, but not too far behind. This should put Ana probably at pace with Lucio. Yeah, Lucio? Maybe a little bit worse than where Lucio's at right now. But catching up? Maybe? I don't know. Hard to call. But either way, that's an Ana buff. Juno, Hyper Healer power decreased over health to 75, down from 100. At higher MMR tiers, Juno has earned the nickname Flying Tracer for good reason. Her survivability, especially after round 3, made her extremely slippery and difficult to deal with. This base adjustment is focused on slightly reducing her survival capability to keep her challenging without feeling unfair to eliminate. I'm gonna give you my thoughts on this one. I don't know if that'll be enough. Again, I have made that call before on stuff, and then it ends up being enough. So I want to leave that room for error there, but I don't think this will be enough. I just think that it's more than just taking away 25 overhealth, because you can build. I don't think it will be enough. I don't. I think they'll have to address this build later on. This will probably overtake this build, unless, and I don't know what the Kiriko changes are yet, but I assume that Juno's Flying Tracer build is what they're calling it, will probably overtake what it felt like playing against Kiriko's clone, where it just, you can't, at a certain point, you're just like hoping that the Juno hex up more than you outplay, right? You said spoiler, it's not? Yeah, so what was that? Oh yeah, so I mean, for people who don't know what this build is, I guess this is a good time to talk about this build. There's basically a build right now on Juno where you basically are endless flight in the air. So what you can use is, I think it's called Blink Boots or something like that. And basically what it does is it basically gives you 3 blinks, but they come back really quickly, really fast. And what happens now is, and this is, again, they even mentioned at higher MMR tiers, like it's happening a lot, so I'm not gonna be able to speak for like every rank on this one. But what happens is Juno they just go a bunch of ability power, a little bit of survivability, and then next thing you know, Juno is flying around the map with 500 to 600 HP at all times. And then on top of that, I've seen recently a lot of the Junos that are running this comp are getting a mercy to damage boost them the whole time. So when you hit tab, Juno's at 15,000 damage round 4, and like the closest person is Cassidy with 4,200 on 50% weapon power, right? So again, I think they're just trying to see what will happen if you decrease the overhealth and make Juno have less HP from that. But like the truth is aren't a lot of Junos just grabbing like the ring, right? So can't you just grab the ring power after you get blink boost anyway, and then like you're just gonna go back and forth between this is the hyper ring, right? This is the hyper ring, I think. Or am I thinking something different? Wait, let me look. I'm gonna look now. Give me 1 second. I might as well look. There's only one more patch note. I want to see something here. I want to make sure I'm talking about this correctly. I don't want to just BS. Because what Junos are doing is you get Yeah, you get blink boosts, right? Yes, here it is. Allies affected by Hyper Healer. That's what I thought. But, like, what you do is you go blink boost, and then with Hyper Healer, which isn't even, like, this is good for more your team sometimes, you just go Stinger or Medimaster, and then you can just build around that, and you're still, like, at good HP, right? Like, it's just, I'm going like a Scuff build, like, just something random here. And then, like, you just get Mark of the Kitsune, right? Which I think is, where is it at? Oh, 3-tap Tommy Gun got a little bit of a price increase. That's good. That's not bad. 3-tap Tommy Gun, and then Mark of the Kitsune. I get lost on where some of this stuff goes. Oh, is that the weapon power one? No, that's ability power, Mark of the Kitsune. There it is. So it's 21.5 for those two. Yeah, it's nothing, because even like the weapon power builds are easy to build. And then you would go this one right here, right? No. Ironclad. Ironclad. Yes. When you gain an ability, you gain the overhealth. So you're still getting 100 overhealth if you get the Hyper Ring one. And then you just basically go ability power. You know, you can grab, I don't know, you can just be annoying. You could actually grab, could you just grab this one? Like, you could just grab, like, Iridescent. Yeah, you could grab the Fusion Drive. You could grab the Iris one if you want cooldown reduction. And then the last slot, you could just do, like, I don't know. I mean, heck, you could just do this. And then as you climb, you'll just, this is what your HP bar will look like, right? And then eventually you just kind of go around the map. So, point being is, even with them nerfing the Hyper Healer one, I think that, like, it's still going to be really strong. Like, look at my HP bar when I just popped the, like, the speed ring there. Like, do you see that? This isn't even scaled. This isn't a round 5. This isn't round 4. Like, that's what the problem with the build is. Like, even if you nerf 25 HP. Look at my HP right there is Juno. You're not killing a Juno in the air like that, especially when you're doing this. You know? Like, you can be in the air the whole time. So we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do with it, but I just wanted to make sure I got that part clear, yeah. On where I don't think it will be enough. Again, I'll leave a little bit of wiggle room there in case it is, but I don't think it will be. I think Juno will still dominate. Again, maybe that's kind of what their plan is right now. You know, let certain heroes do that. I think the idea is allowing heroes to have that they call hero fantasy. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah. Anyway, on to Kiriko now. The clone conjuration power. Clone now deals 65% less healing and damage. That's a lot of difference. Increased duration back to 4 seconds. And the dev comments say, we're shifting Kiriko's clone to serve its role as a decoy and utility tool, rather than function as a lethal, cold-blooded assassin. This adjustment is the first step toward making the ability feel more fair, interactive, and enjoyable for both Kiriko players and their opponents. More updates are planned to further refine its identity and gameplay impact. But yeah, I imagine this will be a lot better to play against Kiriko now, right? I imagine this will be a lot better to play against Kiriko. Everything I'm reading here seems like it will be. Only thing I would ask is, have people tested, like, if it's 65% less healing and damage, is there any, like, scaled items that would make it still really strong? Maybe you're a little bit less tanky, but, like, you can still do a lot of damage if you get enough stuff, right? Like, so out of curiosity, and again, I don't know how it works, if the clone does 65% less damage and healing, but say you had 65% weapon power, would that bring that back down to, like, the damage of a Kiriko? Or does that like basically make you just like Kiriko at that point? Or am I just thinking of it like not the correct way with how that works? Yeah, like, do the items scale with that? Is what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know how the math's done exactly. So is it like, technically you could still have a strong clone build? You just be... So, I mean, there's still basically there's still a world where you could have a strong clone build. But what I will say is this definitely will make it better to play against the Kiriko clone build. I think what their vision is they really want to make sure that they're not taking away the fun aspect of a lot of stuff, right? So what they're doing here is they want to keep it so the Kiriko still has this play style, but the player going against it's having fun without getting rid of these fun things for characters, right? Like what I will admit is, even though it was frustrating playing against the clone build, it was, I don't know about y'all if you've played it or not, it was pretty damn fun when you played that clone build. So you want to keep that play style. You just don't want it to feel like it's awful for the players going against it, right? So anyway, just a little bit of a note on that, where I know what they're aiming for here. We'll see how they can make it work that way. Anyway, that's Kiriko. So Juno, very small nerf. Kiriko, I would say a pretty large nerf to the clone one. Still usable though. I think people can still make this work, but you said off the... Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. We'll see what the items are like when you get that, and I'm sure people will get that tested throughout the week, and maybe my thoughts on that would shift a little bit. And then last update to the heroes is Zenyatta. Dual Harmony power, decreased healing reduction to 40 from 45. Okay, that's pretty good. Gotta have Faith power, increased orb duration to 10 seconds. Holy crap, that's good. And then Soul Control, increase ultimate meter cap to 75%. That's the one where you can ult and then stop ult. And that one's going to make the Zenyatta kick build even better. Dev comments say, while Zenyatta has often leaned towards offensive playstyles, we're making adjustments to encourage his heal and focused builds as well. These changes aim to better support players who want to take on a more traditional support role and provide stronger team-wide healing presence. Honestly, I'm okay with that. I think trying to, like, there are just some players who, while the kick build is fun, don't want to do the kick build, right? It's actually, obviously we've played a few games with Arcs, and, like, if you ever notice, like, Arc's playstyle is very, like, backline heavy, when I tried that build, I just didn't, the playstyle I wasn't used to, so I didn't play that playstyle as well as I could have. So having a more, like, the way they aim it at here is, like, more of, like, a traditional playstyle. It's good to have that for Zenyatta, you know? The 10 seconds out of line of sight, that's why I was like, oh, damn, that's going to be pretty damn good. So, we'll see how it is. But yeah, I mean, it's fine for Zenyatta changes. I mean, again, I think I don't know if anybody's really realized this with the Stadium team. They're very willing to make really quick adjustments. Again, sometimes you feel like some of them could be quicker, as you've probably seen. I have not, you know, I talk about, you know, my thoughts on it quite a bit. So, yep. Anyway, so that's that. And then on to Stadium updates. Looks like they made the aerial distressor item cost decreased to 9,000 down from 10,000. I feel like half of my builds just got buffed. I'm not going to complain. We're just going to leave it as is. Again, for anybody who hasn't tried the distressor item, it is a good item. I just want you to know that. It is an underrated item, especially if you're playing even heroes like Sigma, Diva. Like, any hero that basically forces anybody to go into the air for 1/10 of a second is going to benefit greatly from this. So, I'm just saying, you know, I'm not complaining. And then the 3-tap Tommy gun cost increased to 10.5k, which makes sense because I feel like the 3-tap Tommy gun Market Kitsune is becoming a default build for a few roles, so they're just trying to make it a little bit more difficult. Dev comments say, we're reducing the cost of the distressor to make it more efficient and easier to purchase in the matchups that you need. Additionally, 3-tap Tommy gun has become the linchpin of many popular builds and was priced too low for the amount of value it is providing. Keep in mind, chat, it's Mark of the Kitsune and 3-tap Tommy gun. Those two alone, those two together are very strong. And it basically elevates, like, the Soldier 76 build, for example, from okay to a really strong, consistent build. So you might try to get it round 2 on Sigma. You could. Yeah, it might not be a bad option. Depends what build you're going to. But yeah, I agree. I think that item is really strong. You might have missed the price decrease stuff. Yeah, I might have been at the bottom of it, Beaver, yeah. Fix an issue where the force keyboard mouse user interface was incorrectly swapping between input types. I don't quite know the context, but I'm glad they fixed something like that, right? Moira fixed an issue with the Moira Mythic, so there you go. The Moira Mythic enjoyers, you have that back. Looks like they fixed an issue with Junkrats. Okay, just some clips, some just stuff not working. Kiriko fixed an issue where, oh, here it is. Fixed an issue where Kiriko's clone gained excessive attack speed when using the clone power in combination with Swift Step. Okay, that makes a lot of sense then in some of those, there's an issue there. And then fixed an issue where Kiriko did not receive damage and healing stats from her clone when using the clone power. Thank you for doing that. I mentioned this in a video a while back and how it could be very confusing for players if they look at the scoreboard and assume that they're, like, everybody's just not doing anything or playing the game. So I'm very glad they were able to address that and fix that, because that was a problem where I don't know how many times I saw people going, dude, I have way more healing than your Kiriko. Oh, what is your Kiriko doing? Look at your Kiriko stats. Kiriko, are you even there? And it's like, the Kiriko's running the clone build. That Kiriko probably has 10 times the stats of all of us in the lobby right now. But the scoreboard didn't reflect that. So it's good that they were able to get that fixed. I felt like that was like an unintended problem there. Anyway, and then Sigma fixed an issue where the barrier unintentionally blocks certain projectile damage while the mass driver power was equipped. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but it's good to fix that. So there you go. Stadium patch notes, pretty good. Obviously, again, summarize. I think they did some good changes. Again, I don't think it's enough for the Juno build. May and Junkrat buffs I'm fine with for now, which, you mean, you hear me say those words. If that was core game, different story. Stadium, yeah, it's fine. Diva, this one, again, I don't think this will change too much of this because of animation locks, but we'll see. I could be wrong. But yeah, there you go. There's the Stadium patch. If you enjoyed this, let me know. And hope you all have an amazing day / night.